You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I'm representing all this. That's like, man, when I have my gold teeth and shit, I really felt like I was representing. Because I'm like, yeah, look at me. You know what I'm saying? Look at me. And let's talk. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I was in the Army, man, I was talking to dude, man, and I was going to school. I was signing up for school. He was like, yo, you know, we're talking, and he was like, so you say you like history? So much you like black history? I'm like, I don't really want to limit myself to say I like black history. Of course I do. It's like, when I say I like history, you know what I'm saying? It's period. He's like, okay. He's like, you know, I find it pretty odd, you know, because, you know, a lot of times you have black history, and now they want to learn Swahili. I'm like, yeah, I'm aware that Swahili is a slave language. This nigga jumped out of his jail. Like, what? You know that? I can't even say that. He started saying how it's not necessarily a slave language. It was a language of trade.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was like a lingua franca. Slaves were one of the commodities traded within it, but it wasn't just a language. I mean, you know, English is not just a language of slaves. You know what I'm saying? But when you tell the story, you know, with our history the way we're taught it, that's the way we see it. You know what I'm saying? We don't see the bigger picture. We don't see that it was a lot more going on. It's just that, you know, I'm like, he was like, well, you know, like the Afro, he like something, he came up with like, man, black people wearing Afros and how noble Africans were. That's not true either. You know what I'm saying? And then the most Africans may have cut their hair fairly short, you know, because it's conducive to your environment. The fuck you walking around with a big ass fro. You know what I'm saying? I said, but you had the Hayden Dowell, for instance, you know, and I learned this. Gotta give him his props. You know what I'm saying? I learned this from him, and it's like Hayden Dowell, the British called the Fuzzy Wuzzies. You know what I'm saying? Because they had the big fuzzy afros, and they lived in Sudan, and they fought their ass to the kill, and they're still there. Say they lost all you want, but they're still there. Right now, they're still there. You know what I'm saying? They're still there. You don't have Azteca that's still there. And that's not to say anything to discredit the Azteca, because I respect the Mexican town. I respect the fuck out of them. I respect the Mexicans. I respect American so-called Amerindians or whatever. You know what I'm saying? My grandmother, Chickahominy tribe. I'm an Atkins. You know what I'm saying? Chickahominy for real. You know what I'm saying? My cousin is the chief of the Chickahominy tribe in Virginia. I represent.
Bring him over.
He's not. I know him, but I don't know him. But he's there. He's my relative.
So, what do you think of how do you think Thanksgiving should be celebrated for real? Like, as an American Indian,
I think that we should. I think that like you said, it's about the harvest. Yeah. You celebrate the harvest, and if that's a reason for family to get together, whatever excuse we have to love each other, let that reign. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yes,
but let's recognize it for what it is. Like I
said, I mean, it's just basically cut out the bullshit. Cut out the fucking bullshit.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you tell a child a story, sometimes you go around it. You know what I'm saying? You tell analogies, you know, so the child understand it, and in time, you hope the child will really understand it. But see, that's what happened. Like to us, it's like somebody told us the analogy and forgot to tell us.
And forgot to tell us what happened.
Yeah, what really happened. Yeah. That's because the people died. You know what I'm saying? Or that story was washed away. Right. You know what I'm saying? But in the best interest of those who wish to control us. Right. You know, and I'm not talking about some group that sit around like, okay, you know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about that. You know, if there is any type of group that does it, it's far more intricate. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, and this is an excellent opportunity because you can see it. You can see it truly. You can see it, you know, with American history. You can see it, you know, because you have so many different perspectives coming into it. You know what I'm saying? You can see how people tie into one particular perspective. You know, how you tie into the Eurocentric perspective. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Even Europeans who the shit didn't really even benefit. You know, like you talk about, you talk about the Civil War. You talk about the Emancipation Proclamation. You talk about the freeing of the enslaved people. I don't like to say slaves. No. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I try my best not to say it. I say it because I'm talking and I'm reading. I'm saying what I read, but I don't like to say slave.
Well, because that's the whole thing. We're so programmed by language rather than essence and meaning of it.
You're naming people a situation.
So you're saying it in the language. It's forming your idea. But anyway, sorry.
But no, I ain't sorry. That's what the fuck I was saying. Because, you know, like it's the enslaved people. When these people who were enslaved, they were human beings who were enslaved, not slaves. You see what I'm saying? And when they would, when slavery was made illegal, you know what I'm saying? And we look at it, and you have all these Southern whites, and they're like, you know, we want the old times back and all this shit. But really, Southern whites benefited off of the enslaved men freed more so even than the slaves themselves.
Well,
Than those enslaved themselves. I mean, you know, that's relative, of course. You know what I'm saying? Who, you know, but what I mean by they benefited, say you had property, say you had 200 acres of land. And this 200 acres of land was controlled by like 5 people.
Yeah.
You know, after the Emancipation Proclamation, after the Civil War was lost by the Confederate States, that land that was controlled by 5 people was controlled by 200 people, maybe even 500 people. 500 whites took over that land. You see what I'm saying?
500 on 200 acres?
Yeah. I mean, maybe the 200 acres is a bit,
yeah.
little, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, it's a grandstand of land.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You figure it's like what, 10,000% increase?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You know what I'm saying? When you think about, like we see it now, you have Walmart. Walmart's cheaper than the mom and pop store. You know what I'm saying? So you take that and you take that and put it back in like the 1800s, okay? And you have this dude. He owns slaves. He owns land. You know, his slaves can perform blacksmith work. You know what I'm saying? He has a blacksmith that he owns. He has access to the best metals. You know, the best training for this dude, this enslaved person who does the blacksmithing. Yeah. Then you have old Tommy white man around the street who's a blacksmith as well. Who the fuck's gonna go to him? Well, it's cheaper to go to Master so-and-so because this nigga he has it better. He's Walmart. You know what I'm saying? So it's cheaper. You can go and get the same amount of horseshoes, the same amount of metal you need for a lot cheaper than you go to Tommy white boy around the street. So why the fuck you gonna go to him? You understand what I'm saying? So, but when this is destroyed, then it's opened up opportunities for a bunch of Tommy white boys. You know what I'm saying? You ride around Richmond right now. You ride around Richmond right fucking now. You see so many trucks driven by white folks with signs like plumbing and this and this, because these things grew out of that situation. You see what I'm saying? To be quite honest, like the poor whites benefited more. I mean, they became an economic factor afterwards. Before.
One thing that I'm happy about is it's actually entered into people's understanding that America's an empire, and they could go with that, but then it's like, all right, well, what do empires do? Let's look back a little bit. Let's look back at different holidays, different experiences, and then think, all right, well, if I could see how Spanish American War, Mexican American War, all these different things were kind of for expansion. Then maybe I could see, well, fighting in this one international war, that was actually to put military bases there.
Right. And it's an economic thing now. Yeah. We're standing on a different platform. But of course we're not going to go under the guise of empire. We were going under the guise of empire when we were in the Philippines, even. You know what I'm saying? So, but you're not going under that guise anymore. You can't, because it wouldn't be conducive to the point you're trying to prove to everybody else. Yeah. The same way it wouldn't be conducive to the point you're trying to prove to everybody else that to have it where I can't go into a particular store because I'm black. Yeah. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not conducive to what you're trying to sell everyone else. It's not so much that you become such a philanthropist that you like, okay, wait a minute, I was wrong about it. Yeah. It's not like, and that's what the story like tell themselves. Like, well, that was back then. This now is bullshit.
Yeah. See, you know what I'm saying? That's what I was basically, it was like kind of bred into the understanding, and that's what I had adopted when I was younger. Because it's the same way. It's like, to think, oh, well, like the Inquisition, that wasn't like really the Catholics. Now it was just Catholics then. Yeah. But and while it was the cardinals and the bishops, I don't know, kind of like German, general Germans during Nazi Germany, they still kind of went along with stuff. And same thing as a lot of Catholics.
A lot of times they probably believe.
Well, I mean, you look at things like the witch trials.
And they would turn people in.
What do they? That's what I'm saying. Like. Don't they say like something like 5 million women were killed or something during the witch trials? Yeah. Those weren't just all the Catholics and the bishops. Those were small town priests burning people at the stake.
Yeah. Think about all the cats. I don't mean it in a way to compare cats to women, but I mean just the Europeans. Think about the Europeans. Period. Killing all the animals in Europe.
Yeah.
And think about that. You know what I'm saying?
Cutting down all the trees.
Yeah. Come on, man. You think about that. Think about the cats, the wolves. They were actually lions in Europe. They're actually lions. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Not anymore. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Think about it. I mean,
it's so easy to see how this illness that has gripped human minds has really turned us into like this